Hello guys, and welcome back to the Sino-Soviet Union playthrough. In the last episode, I took over Japan and Dema took over East Pakistan. This progression notes one of the biggest non-allied blue countries getting wiped out and becoming a colony of mine from which I will be exploiting technology from. In this episode, we'll take a look at what we've acquired and take a look at our next targets. There's no stopping us from here. Who is your next target going to be? Because the options are becoming slim pickings right now.
I mean, I could colonize India.
India, I feel like, would, well, maybe could be a good test of your military. They don't have the most amount of military, but they have a lot of land. You'll be fighting a lot of garrisons, and they still have a decent amount of military. And just the vast swath of it will really put you to the task of, like, do you have the capability of actually fielding your military in a war this big? And if you do, well, that's a really good sign. I don't know how Japan is really going to go as a colony. They went through the money I gave them. They took out more debt. Some of what they're doing is literally just buying oil from me at like twice the fucking market value. Not the market value, sorry. Twice my production value, which is still basically that. They're still researching techs that I don't have yet, and I find that hilarious because then I can just be like, hey, you, give me that research.
None of my colonies have any techs I don't have.
Because you haven't taken over someone as advanced as Japan. If you actually colonize India, do you know how much tech you can get for free?
6.
Trust me when I tell you it's more than 6.
Well, I can get 6 that I see right now.
Like I said earlier, there's a tunnel. And once you can request from them, and then as you get non-tradables, even as you go back to them with the new ones you got from them, you're going to see your tech skyrocket, actually, after you take India. Mainly your non-warfare tech. Warfare tech, they don't really have any of. But non-warfare, they're a fucking magnet of.
I kind of want to just go to war with them right now. But I know that's a bad play.
Why is that a bad play?
Look at my treaty integrity.
So?
I don't like doing anything below 70.
Why?
That way I have a little buffer.
You don't know the buffer yet, though. You haven't seen the point where someone actually tells you no because of your treaty integrity.
I just don't like it. I just like it keeping it as high as possible after war.
The lower it gets to, the faster it builds back up. By the time you got the war justification against India, you'd probably be at 70% anyway. The war with India would go on so long that you would get your treaty integrity back in that time.
Alright, I'm doing it.
Damn, I wonder how many people are gonna fucking run away from India. Can you imagine? 20 million people ran away from Japan during that war. They had 124 million. What happens when you take those stakes and, like, almost times 6 them? Well, it's time to get rid of a failed state. Soviet Armenia, welcome to the Soviet Union. I have my eye on one more colony that's, like, on the brink of being a failed state. It's all small ones. Like, that one was 1.5 million people. This other one is 3 million people. There you go. Nothing goes on water that doesn't need to. I'm building a bridge, a rail bridge between me and Japan, because I got these islands up here, and I figure it would be less expensive to literally just plop down some rail bridges than it would be to actually put ports here. Oh, okay. Well, the bridge won't go that far, it turns out. You can only cross like 2 tiles of ocean with a bridge, it looks like. You know what's gonna suck about your war with India the most? All their garrisons are already set up. They never deactivated their garrisons from the war with Pakistan.
That's fine, because there's one difference between Pakistan and me. Pakistan didn't have the amount of population I have. That's one. And Pakistan, I don't think, had the military strength I did.
It was funny, Pakistan actually did a number on India's military to start. They never would have gotten through all the garrisons, though. This could be the largest scale battle to happen so far. This would now be the biggest country either of us has fought, but this could also be the largest scale battle that could happen. If anything could raise the price of military goods potentially in the world, it could be this battle. Depending on whether or not you keep up with your military goods needs, and whether or not they burn through all of their military goods. But this fight will definitely burn through a lot of goods. Price of coal's gone up to 10. Still not profitable for me to sell. A big part of that coal price could be the fact that Soviet Japan is importing coal like crazy. In fact, they're the top importer of it. What do you know, this is having effect on the world supply of stuff. Damn, India's just hit 100 billion in debt. Their debt's officially doubled since the end of that war. I have expanded my consumer good production a little bit more again because the price went up. But now, with that going and all these buildings I'm doing, I'm actually starting to cap out on electricity. Also, industrial goods is the thing that I started selling again because it's now profitable again. But yeah, I have to get making more hydro plants or any power plants, really. Hell, I could use some more industrial goods, but that's only because like a third of my spending of it is going towards building things right now. This one colony of mine that's having problems, I'm actually going to send 105 mil at them to help bail them out a little. Because I don't actually want to annex this colony right now.
Technically, I'm not sure if you'll be able to safely annex.
Oh, I can. Treaty integrity doesn't make people attack you, Dema. And 60% is still a lot, even though you don't seem to think it is. 60% is still within the range of, like, no one's going to say no to me because of my treaty integrity. Well, less than 50% is what you want to avoid. Unless you don't plan on making a bunch of treaties. Sometimes if you click on a nation like New Zealand, you see their alliance, and it's this pale green color. If you click on someone like us, or a NATO member, or Uganda, it's a dark green. And then if you click on someone like, let me find one. Someone like Tunisia, you'll notice it's a color green in between those two shades. I wonder why that is.
Maybe it's, okay, you're allied with the sphere leader for the darker color. The middle ground is you're allied with someone who's allied with the sphere leader. And then the very lightest one means you're allied.
That can't be because New Zealand is allied with Canada, a direct ally of the US, and it's the palest green color. Oh. I can't tell if it's like an indicator of how strong those allies are, or a relationship between those allies. Like, how likely are these people to actually come and assist this country? I don't actually know. It does that for colonies, too. Like, look at your colonies, and then look at mine. Look at the color. Pale green versus dark green. I do not fully understand it. Maybe it's just the significance of the allies or the colonies. I'm going around handing out some money to all my colonies that have a very low amount of money as a test to basically see if and when they return to their initial levels before I sent them the money. So if any of them get back down to 20 or less, and especially if they start losing pop because of a very low budget, I will know for sure that bailouts aren't going to keep them up. Oh, India just tested the atomic bomb. Oh, remember that one spot of France that a bunch of units always get stuck?
Yeah.
Guess what?
Did that happen?
Oh, it's horrible. It's god-awful.
Hey, Soviet Japan seems like they're doing really well.
Maybe, sort of, kind of. I mean, they keep taking out debt. They're holding their credit rating up there, though, but they're surviving off of debt. They're gaining people, though. Their economy's doing well.
What are they doing to go with the debt?
What are they doing? Well, for one, they're no longer selling their goods on the market because they're sending all of them to me. And they're not actually very self-sustaining in the resources they produce. Therefore, they're buying stuff off the market, and they're also buying stuff from me, just automatically, because I have it set to accept.
Yeah, you might want to take them over.
I don't need to yet. If it gets to the point where their debt just becomes unsustainable, then I can take them over. But for now, I'm just making a profit off of them. In fact,
I plan on making
and in fact, not only am I making a profit off of them, they're helping stir the world economy. For now, they suit me and the world best the way they are.
Oh, I just realized I get all the resources you sent them.
I said that earlier. The thing is that the only things that they really have left that I sent them is agriculture.
They have some military goods, industry goods.
That's not for me.
Petroleum, timber.
Not for me. Okay, some of the oil might be for me, but they're going to use it once the war starts. Timber is in such small quantities that you burn through it super quick. The only thing they have that I sent them, and I guarantee you this, is agriculture. The rest of that stuff they have any excess of, that's just from the market. Because I sent them military goods when they went to war, and they sold all of it. You want to know what I love about that broken loop in France is that it's pretty much entirely troops belonging to, who's that, the Netherlands? Yeah. It's like entirely troops belonging to the Netherlands. The USA hit 400 million people. Oh, so interesting thing, by the way. You realize that you are actually going to end up annexing Pakistan, right?
Wait, what?
Because you're going to colonize India. It's going to give them everything loyal to them. Pakistan is not loyal to them. So you're going to end up annexing that western part.
That's fine.
And in that western part lives, at least 60 million people. So you're about to see your pop go up again. I love the way the world market is. I can pretty much sustain my entire maintenance. My maintenance is higher than ever before, by the way. With all this new shit, I have more land units deployed just on the regular than I ever have had before. And I can sustain it while still building a fuck ton of things and making money. The world economy has gotten so much better. And I bet if I annex Japan, it would get worse again. I'm using like a fucking Ponzi scheme on Japan right now. I'm just gonna let them accumulate all this debt, and then when it's too much for them to handle, I just annex them and wipe the slate clean. You wanna know what's funny? I can literally see Indian troops moving around, like, in their country because of my satellites. I don't know if you can see them through my line of sight.
I can see them as well.
So you can see the troops around New Delhi.
Yeah.
Hey, you get to see what my reconnaissance satellites can see.
At this point, I hate to say this, Russ, I dumped so much into getting this war justification with India, I am not backing out of this. I
Coup
don't care
d'etat
who.
in Ethiopia. A dark red. That's perfect.
Oh,
I
I'm
wanna
supporting it.
Friends with this boy right here. And I can get a full alliance. That's the first coup d'etat in a while. And it got us another fucking ally.
Offer, let's see what
I've been trying to get an alliance with Ethiopia for the longest fucking time. And I just couldn't because I didn't have the resources to try to flip them to red. But now, I have a full alliance. Here in a moment, anyway. Yep, there it is. We both do. Perfect. That's one less country we need to fight. At this point, I've stopped saying that's one more red because all of our reds are going non-aligned. So long as they're allied with me, I'll still win, technically. So I'm going to just start saying that's one more ally, unless someone else flips, you know, like Greece flipped to us and then flipped away from us. And quite frankly, Greece's population loves me so much. They're only leaning NATO right now. They're only leaning. They're not actually, like, aligned. That means I could get them back on our side. I just don't feel like putting in the effort. I could spend my money elsewhere right now than trying to flip Greece. How are my colonies doing? They're all doing pretty well. That stimulus I gave them, those very small stimuluses have kind of worked out for them. They're all still in debt to some extent, but none of them are out of money. None of them are losing people. Latvia is down to 50. They're, 49 now. They're at the lowest.
They're not having much issue.
For now, yeah.
You can tell what I'm doing.
Yeah, holy shit. This is a bit more large scale than Pearl Harbor. Fucking insert reference to our last playthrough. Me screaming over, "It's Pearl Harbor! It's Pearl Harbor!" as the Japanese planes flood towards China. Oh god, the planes! The planes! War is coming! War is coming! Oh my god, it's Pearl Harbor! Oh, Jesus Christ. It's like Pearl Harbor all over again. I'm getting PTSD. And it hasn't even happened yet. It's only 1937. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's Pearl Harbor, guys. It's Pearl Harbor!
Okay, here it goes. Let's see what happens when I hit normal.
Oh, war declared. China against India. For once, I'm not gonna support a war you declared. Just because India still actually likes me.
Oh,
fighting has begun.
My push is,
lacking. You did declare war before a lot of your troops actually got there. But yeah, they're like I said, all their garrisons are activated. Every single city, every single industrial complex, military complex, all of them are filled to the brim with garrisons, as many as can be had. Not to mention their actual offensive army is going to push out at you as much as they can in these early days. But you're pushing out on so many different sides all at once right now. Some places are getting way more attention than others, I can see. And right now, it's pretty brutal against you.
That's because of garrisons.
And the amount of troops that they had at the ready compared to you. I'm watching the deaths on both sides just leaping upwards. They're going up at pretty similar paces. India's is going up a bit faster than yours.
That's because I'm targeting like as many places that I can. Spread out the battle.
As more and more of your troops arrive, this should hopefully just get easier and easier for you, especially as the front starts to narrow down. They have the early advantage because they had all their troops kind of at the ready, whereas you didn't. The problem is a lot of the entrances from your territory into India doesn't actually look so hot. God, you have a push even happening up here in the northwest? Very slightly. It's already out of supplies up there. This is just a bloodbath right now. Since I last checked, both of you have racked up over 20,000 deaths each. This may be a war to fix your KDR, that's for sure. With how many things you'll have to kill. You're definitely at your strongest in the furthest east areas. The further south or west you go, the weaker your lines seem to be. There's still just a giant wave of Chinese people. Even more now, probably because of your AI being deployed and moving in. Your military bar is fucking huge right now. India's is still at 1 bar with all their deployed troops. Yours is gigantic. Your bars are literally almost caught up to the US right now. This really is a good indication of comparing you to the US. You have 1.58 million army staff deployed. You've actually lost some territory from Nepal, but like I said, even though the West is not doing so hot, you're doing really great in the East. Oh, dude. I don't know if you did this, but a bunch of your troops that are in my territory are actually now flooding back home and starting to help pick up the slack in the West.
That was probably the AI. Dude, I'm focusing heavy on the East.
Yeah, the East is just getting swarmed up right now. There's like a fucking Indian push, it looks like. Is that even a push, or is that... No, that's you pushing into India. There's just this weird line of Indians that you're about to surround. Oh man, the fucking deaths. The human casualties are just racking up. Oh man, you just surrounded a good amount of them and you're just caving in on them. That's so nice. Yeah, look at that. Look at all those Indian deaths right there. Your KDR is getting better and better. You've lost over 100,000 people at this point since the start of the war. They've lost even more. Their deaths are skyrocketing now compared to yours. The entire northeast is pretty much almost finished. There's just like these 2 little villages left to take before that completely closes off and all your attention can push westward. Some territories around East Pakistan are still getting swarmed, like down in the south. my god. Because I'm allied with you, India is slowly starting to not like me, and they have 49% war justification towards me because of this war.
It won't matter.
I mean, they're not gonna attack me. They'd be stupid. I know that. Starting to really solidify down there in the south. The east is completely captured at this point. There's no more villages to take. Nothing left to kill, so all that stuff is starting to swarm westwards. When it hits your front line, it'll do great. You have more and more just swarming down, like, from the rest of your country. You're literally one bar away from meeting what the US has right now. I see you're having some finance issues right now, though.
Bam, see, it's fine.
Took out debt. Yeah, your credit rating's taking some hits, though.
It'll be fine, I'll pay it off later.
The US declares war on China. They're giving you a huge fight over that Calcutta place in the south.
That's because they have two places over here. They have Habra and Calcutta right next to each other. I have to focus on Habra.
They have a lot more than two, Demo. India's a very condensed place. There's villages and cities everywhere. There's a lot more pink. You're having a really good push in the west now. Like, all their troops seem to be in the east. You have just garrisons in your way for charging after that capital, it looks like, compared to all the troops you have to deal with in the east right now. It looks like they are starting to send troops west. 1.73 million army staff you have. Some of it is garrisons that your AI is deploying around your country.
I'm gonna try to push around them and cut their supply off. If I surround them with a tank, it'll cut their supply off.
That won't help you against garrisons. Speaking of, let me take a look at their supplies right now. They still have 2 million military goods. They look like they're definitely burning through stuff. They got plenty of oil. They are perfectly fine in terms of their finances. So you got a fucking pronged assault, just spearheading towards Delhi. Ooh, they just surrounded that spearheaded assault of yours. Holy shit, there's just so many Chinese people in the east now. The amount of fucking gunfire. God damn. I'm looking at an entire stack of Indians about to die right now. So many combat engineers. Corner, look at that. They're all dead just like that. Holy fucking hell. Let's take a look at the fucking statistics again. You're nearing at least 200,000 lost, but they've lost hundreds of thousands. They're skyrocketing towards 1 million losses. You now are positive on your KDR.
Holy crap, that's a lot of units along their area.
There are so many Chinese people in India right now, and there's still more coming. The largest of your waves have arrived already, but there's still more just on the way. God, just the sheer manpower cleanup after this is done is gonna be ridiculous. Oh, dude! Oh my god! Their military approval rating is at its most bottom point. Their garrisons are starting to surrender. Not just their garrisons, a lot of their units, motorized engineers, combat engineers, all their units are starting to surrender. Their military approval ratings just doing that poorly. Just the sheer horde of units, like they're not keeping up. Their units are just starting to surrender more and more. They're not surrendering as fast as they were in Japan, but I'm looking at a giant just swath of units that have been surrendering every single day. We have a random ass AT gun that went into Pakistan through my territory and then got stuck. Yep, units are still just surrendering constantly.
I knew I had to go heavy-handed against India, because if I didn't, I would have struggled more.
You've taken over so many people that you're about to hit 1 billion.
For now.
God, units are just I'm watching units surrender. I'm just watching units surrender. Still pushing in on New Delhi, but with everything else that's falling, I feel like if you actually took this capital, it might, like, just send them over the edge. Could be wrong.
I'm trying to push toward that front too.
It's just so overdone with garrisons. India has surpassed you as the country with the most deaths out of every country, including dead countries. They're the first country to actually surpass you in military casualties since the start of the game. You're just pressed up against them. I'm literally watching their garrisons surrender to you and then start fighting for you. Their approval rating is going down, it's under 10%. And you're just pressed up against New Delhi right now. And all that's defending it is literally just garrisons. I don't even want to even try to narrate or commentate on this ginormous swarm in the rest of India right now. Delhi is very close to falling. Not New Delhi, but Delhi. Delhi has fallen. I love the piss-poor attempts from their air force to try to stop you. It looks like we're going to see the fall of New Delhi here in a moment. Yeah, it's falling, and it's done. New Delhi's fallen. You took their capital. Their military approval rating just fell under 7%. Domestic approval rating 9.5. And still going down, 5.6, 9.3. Alright, they moved their capital down south, but that doesn't mean much. With the way their morale is right now, they would surrender before you even reached that new capital.
Now I can pretty much just let my units go crazy. Because I took the harder part out of the commission.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, they're pretty much out of troops at this point. It's all garrisons at this point. Oh my god. You have a full military bar right now, Dema. You are equal with the U.S. Now, the U.S. probably doesn't have everything deployed, but it's good to note that you are equal with the U.S. on your military bar. How many troops do you have deployed? 2.17 million. India's about to pass 1 million in casualties. What's funny is the price of military goods still not profitable for me to make, despite all this. They're burning through their goods, I know that, because they're down to 1.6 mil. Not that it matters, they just don't even have the people to shoot the bullets they have at this point. I feel like a lot of the fighting has actually calmed down a little bit, like your advances are going slower now that you have to cover this massive amount of ground, and a lot of your troops are still kind of like in the back. You have a push, literally just swimming just right through India to the west towards my border. I'm so surprised they haven't surrendered. Their approval ratings are all so low. Their units are surrendering. I'm so surprised that their government hasn't. An entire city worth of garrisons literally just surrendered to you.
Oh look, I'm right outside their capital again.
I wouldn't call this right outside. You're a ways away.
Wait. Oh, never mind. The one building threw me off with the way it looked.
I can maintain all my fucking units while having 10 hydro plants building and suffer no real consequences. India's the top importer of industrial goods right now. I wonder why. Another entire city of garrisons just fucking like, nope, we give up. Like, when the garrisons give up, they don't even just give up. They join you and start fighting their friends. Oh my god, another entire city surrendered to a single truck. And I know it's not a truck, it's a platoon. But, damn. Oh god, this looks... The map right now, Dema. The map. The west is, like, very, very cleaned up. There's just like a couple of villages missing. They're down to 164 million people. What the fuck? One light infantry group just went through and made like 4 cities surrender. There's a city where all the garrisons surrendered. You just haven't stepped into the city to claim it yet. There it goes. That was like 8 garrisons surrendered to a single fucking group. There goes another one. There goes another one.
I watched one of their stewards just give up and join me.
Yeah, dude, it's happening like crazy. They're just surrendering en masse. All you have to do is show up. Knock, knock. We surrender. How many of you? All of us, apparently. Your inflation's at like 7% due to all your spending during this. You have almost as many troops deployed as the U.S. has. One recon went through and got like 3 cities to surrender to it. Oh, look, an actual unit, a steward. India's back and forth between even having a military bar at this point. This is a lot better than your war with Taiwan, I'll tell you that much. Oh, they gave up! They gave up! India has fallen You've annexed Pakistan and what's this called? Kashmir. And now
India.
there's Chinese India. Your population's now at 930, like 2.5 million. Chinese India is now a thing. They retain all the debt of their previous government. They're like out of money. But the war's over. India's debt is just gonna start skyrocketing as they try to get out of this mess.
Hey! But the good thing is, look at what their color is.
Their color?
They became red and they're permanently red.
They're not permanently red, but they don't need to be red. Like I said, only independent countries need to be red.
Here you go, India. Get out of debt. I'm giving you 3.1 mil for this.
Bill.
All your tech. That's your bailout money.
It's funny, they're so large you're sending them 3.1 bill. I sent Japan 10 bill. Well, we now have a new border.
And I'm actually exploiting them for tech.
Yep, your tech's about to skyrocket.
That one almost as easy as...
Don't say it's Japan, because that was a lot more death. We didn't lose a single fucking unit in Japan. With how much stuff, how many people you just got by absorbing Pakistan and stuff, you're probably going to watch your inflation start to dip down once your units get in reserve again. There's not a single blue in sight in between, like, fucking Bulgaria and Japan now.